Joining us now on the broadcast, Lee Carter, who's communications strategist for Maslansky Partners, Tom Sullivan of Fox Business Network. Great to have you both with us, and Trish Reagan right here in the arena with me, getting ready to pick up our coverage and take it home beginning at 9 o'clock here on the Fox Business Network. Trish, let me start with you,
sure,
because you are so handy. What do you think so far?
Pays to be close by.
There you go.
What do I think so far? I think that, some progress is being made in terms of the unification front, but he's still got a long ways to go. I mean, think about Marco Rubio, who's joining by video. You think about John Kasich, who's still not here. It's clear that progress has been made. However, more needs to come.
What do you think, Tom Sullivan?
Well, I'll tell you, Lou, there's the mainstream media, has all kinds of criticism, the left media, about how angry everybody is and everything else. And I was thinking about that today, Lou, and I thought, well, if you've got 70% of the people in this country thinking the country is going the wrong direction, and a lot of those people are angry about it, it seems like this convention is setting a tone that's connecting with a lot of people in this country. We're tired of the establishment, and we want that outsider, and the outsider is now the insider. But here we go.
And to that point, Lee Carter, talking with Jerry Falwell Jr., he was very clear that he believes that this is all about change, and that Donald Trump is the man who has specific and concrete achievements in his life to take us in the direction that we need to go. Laura Ingraham, talking on this stage earlier, talking about respect, in particular the dignity of work and restoring it, respect for one another. I mean, these are issues in one way or another that Donald Trump himself introduced to the national dialogue in the course of a 13-month-long campaign, right?
That's absolutely right. I think the other thing that you're seeing here is when you see the establishment candidates, the older candidates that have been around for a while, they seem disconnected. They seem old school. They don't seem now. They don't seem current, and they don't seem in touch with the zeitgeist of the American people right now. So I think that it's really important that if Ted Cruz does want a future in this, that he starts to show that he gets that he starts talking about the vision that people are looking for, because you're absolutely right. People do not feel like they're better off than they were before. They don't feel like their children are going to be better off than they are now. They don't see jobs coming back. They don't see the message that they want to hear from the establishment. They're hearing it from Donald Trump. And so everybody needs to understand that. And if we don't unify, if we don't start coming together, it's going to be really hard for us to win in November.
Yeah, there are gradations, and Trish, as you were saying, the people who are not here are obvious in their absence, particularly Governor Kasich of Ohio, of course, who, lamentably chose a lower road, frankly, in choosing not to be here, and he violated his oath. But Mark Meadows, who supported Ted Cruz, said he is confident that Ted Cruz will at least honor the commitment of all of the delegates here. He will be gracious. He may not endorse outright, but he will do that. This room does not want to be disappointed in that.
No, you're absolutely right. Nobody that's here right now, people are here because they're here for Donald Trump, right? I mean, that's the enthusiasm that you feel, that you see. And so if Ted Cruz were to get on stage and give a speech and not give an endorsement to the ticket, Lou, it would be an utter failure for him. And I don't think he wants to do that. I think that, when push comes to shove, maybe it's not a full-on outright endorsement, as it should be probably if you're getting up there and speaking and have agreed to that. But it will be a positive message about the ticket, and it needs to be. You think about what's happening to the Republican Party right now, Lou, and it's so splintered. But I'll tell you, if Donald Trump wins, all those guys who sat by the sidelines and refused to show their support, they really will be history.
Yeah, and demonstrating, and I can't say how many people, a tremendous number of people have said, I'm looking at these polls and it shows that Donald Trump can win in November, and this is the first time I've heard from those folks who had supported Cruz, who had supported Kasich or Rubio or whomever. they're now moving, and they're moving pragmatically and empirically because the polls are changing. Tom Sullivan, there's a secret weapon that Donald Trump has that is no longer a secret. It's his family. And tonight we're going to hear another of his grown children talk about the dad. And this is powerful. The Jerry Falwell Jr. said his family turned his candidacy into a movement. What do you think?
Well, it is something. I mean, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And if all these apples that we have seen, his children, have been really impressive young people, then you have to go, well, how could some ogre raise these wonderful, impressive young people? Maybe he's not an ogre. Maybe he really is an impressive guy. And look what he's done with his kids. If he can do that, he can do that for the country.
Lee Carter, you're going to get the last word here as we prepare for Mike Pence, the vice presidential nominee, Senator Cruz, and, of course, Eric Trump. You get the last words on the family as the foundation of a movement.
Like, the family is unbelievable. They're his best surrogates. And what I've been hearing from voters is they say, look, 80% of Donald Trump's message I love. What he's going to do, it's common sense. It's what I want to hear. 20% I'm not so sure about. I'm not sure what he's going to do. But when people see his children and the way that they've developed, they're like, you know, that 20% might not be as bad as I thought it was, because he must have done something really amazingly right to have all these children that are so articulate, that are so smart, that are so thoughtful, that are so confident. And so I think it's really, it's a testimony to him.
Lee Carter, thank you so much. Tom Sullivan, thank you so much.